gentle, supportive, right? If I am doing anything that is going over a joint, I'm actually going to be supporting the joint itself, so I'm not creating joint mob. So I can manipulate the joint a teeny bit without creating any stretch in the capsule, any pull on that area. And obviously, any muscle that isn't affected is probably going to have some form of fatigue from overworking for the muscles that are affected. Right? So I'm gently supporting the limb, making sure that I'm not causing any discomfort. But with the forearm muscles, they're probably going to be more intact, so being able to create support through them is okay. Nice, easy compressions. Always nice to do gentle calluses and assessment. Because the neck will be affected, it will be more obvious when you have someone like that on the table. But because the neck is affected, anytime I'm putting compression through the neck, I'm worrying about more affect to arteries, nerves, than I would normally, because there's going to be less muscle structure, and so I can compress into that more, right? Has anyone worked on Ian's shoulder before? Someone really needs to work on Ian's shoulder. I mean that in the most supportive way. Okay. Ignore this for a second. It's going to make Ian's shoulder move properly. Okay, back to the demo. Right? Gentle compressions. Good. And I'm supporting the limb because I want to make sure that I know how much stretch I'm putting into the tissue. Right? So if I'm pressing into something and the muscle's not engaging like it normally is, because it's not really there, I want to make sure I know what's being affected. I'm not having this arm suddenly go off the hip. So I'm creating gentle support. I'm not holding too hard onto the hand or pulling too, basically allowing the body to naturally sort of traction with me so that my compressions can be nice and gentle. Right? Little details with these kind of things. So, again, forearm is going to be probably more tense as far as muscle goes because it's going to be overworking as well. Gentle Swedish. Again, we're looking at if there is muscular atrophy, we're looking at potential exacerbation with arteries, veins, nerves, and things like that. People aren't incredibly fragile, however, you need to be aware of these things. Right? So if you've worked with any of the Asian population that has more degeneration of like muscle integrity or muscle intensity or muscle mass as a whole, you will probably find that you can press into bone, nerve, artery, vein much easier, right? I am going to probably support the head depending on how much degradation is going to go on, is present, because if I start doing traction style techniques or anything that's pulling, you might find that the head is wobbling back and forth. And so I want to make sure I can isolate a little bit so that when I do any kind of Swedish related, I can support the head and I can go down. Where is the lotion? It's there. I pushed into the chair, not into the actual muscle ring. So. This is why I'm lunching. I've been teaching MT1 this morning, so I'm supposed to be doing this. Wow. Good. So gentle Swedish. I'm not compressing into the tissue too much because I'm anticipating that that tissue is going to be compromised, right? I can create gentle support. I will often, with patients who have discomfort with prone, be working into the back of the spine underneath, but using varying aspects of my hand. So remember all the different muscles, lumbricals, you've got your your profundus and your superficialis, thank you. As far as how you're straining your fingers, right? Making sure my wrist is not the thing that is bending. Okay. Oh, no, I mean, like, when I'm in the spine, I wanna make sure I'm making my fingers safe. So, I'm changing what muscle I'm straining, but I'm also not bending my wrist. You will probably find that you can go less deep and have the same effect. So, everything is generally warmed up, right? What else can I do now into how I can functionally treat this patient? What were the main things we were talking about? Stimulation, yeah. So, I can go vibrations, right?
Brushing.
Brushing. Yeah. Which way am I going with brushing?
Just
Pardon?
Just
brushing. Brushing. What can I also have them do while I'm doing this?
Full body integration.
Yeah, full body integration would be perfectly fine. But if I'm doing stimulatory techniques, this is passive. I can get you to do AA row. Make sure that they are in a comfortable place before I put any instruction to it. Right? Yeah. Fingertip percussion. Happy times. Good. So I can also do this to pec major. So I'm just going to be working just below the collarbone, just above the drape line. Okay. So bringing the arm out and gently trying to bring it over across to your other shoulder. Yeah. Good. And back down. And again, I'm always supporting, right? Down to the other hip. Okay. And back down. What about if I'm doing neck work? With this. Doing brushing, doing tapping, doing vibrations. How am I doing active stuff?
Rotation. Like often to do rotation.
What normally is the fine detail control for rotation? Or is rotation more fine detail control or bigger muscles? Is it? So things like traps and left scap do rotation, but it's not their prime focus. Lateral flexion tends to be the bigger movements. Rotation is one of the most compromising movements for the vertebrae, and so a lot of it is controlled by the micro muscles. So I could absolutely do, pardon? Hmm? You could squeeze the pillow. You can push your head down and in. If you're doing that, I'm going to be doing stimulatory techniques to the back of the head. And do the same thing, but tuck your chin and push into the tail. Good. Right. What about if I'm doing traps? Let's go. Shoulder. Right. Active elevation. Good. And relax. And relax. Why am I not doing resisted? We don't want to overstress the area. Okay. So just because I've created stimulation and engagement doesn't mean I can't do relaxation techniques after, right? The stimulation is more about engaging the brain-body connection and the movement of it. So if I'm now doing relaxation stuff as a whole, that's okay. Because we are creating relaxation in the body as well. Good? Anywhere that I've maybe missed, anything I may have missed in the upper body, what do we think? What else are we thinking that we might apply? So, yeah?
Got a question. Would you also work on like the jaw?
Could do, yeah.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, if that was an indicated thing. Yeah. So if the jaw was tense, absolutely, yeah. You would again be going quite light and easy. So depending on the depth of it, passive stretching, you might be okay with doing pin and stretch. And I'm not going to end range normally, I'm just creating tension in the muscle and creating release as well. And then we can do active assisted with this as well. So I'm pinning, you're gonna just extend through the elbow a little bit, open the arm up, and then gently bring it back up again. Good, same again. Nice and easy, nothing too intense, right? Everyone will be different in that situation. I can do, depending, a teeny bit of like grade, is it 2 joint play? Very gentle movements. Almost like just vibrations into the joint to try and create relaxation stimulation. Not creating any stretch into the capsule. Okay, excellent. Cool. How about doing that for legs? Yeah. Same concept, right? Vibrations, working up. I could technically work into the glutes if they're comfortable side lying prone, right? If they are incapable of doing seated position, I could potentially get gentle work into the glutes with consent. If it's okay, I'm gonna work between the sheet and the table, just into your lower back and your glutes a little bit, okay? So this is often how I will do, you guys have seen my neuro technique, right? Some of you have? No? Different class, right. So I normally start, if I'm doing this, into the lower back, and just to make sure that I'm engaging into safe measures. I am not bending my wrist. I have gotten consent. I am not anywhere that I wouldn't be if they were prone, right? However, this is a compromised biomechanics for us to treat. It is an accommodation to effectively treat this patient. It's not the first thing I'm gonna do, especially if they're able to be seated or sidelined. Okay. So as I go, I'm just working gently, kneading into the erectors. I can put a little bit of compression into psoas, QL, lateral abdominals, getting into compression into glutes, a little bit into TFL area if I want. All right, can do that up top as well. And I can work into SI attachments. How does that feel? Good? Yeah. So, try not to do this on boards because it's biomechanically compromising for yourself. I treat this way a lot. So when my forearms are good. Same concept. Joint mobs. Not joint mobs, sorry, but AA row. So I'm just gonna undrape this leg here. Good. Just because I've been teaching MT1, I tuck in at the side, cross about a half to 2/3 down, support and lift the leg. I'm gonna bring that up as high as is comfortable. And up. I'm gonna lower it down. Have I told you about this? Every single time I turn my body to go this way, don't go up this way because it can feel kind of invasive. So I turn and I roll. If there's an underwear line that I can tuck into, great. If not, that's okay. Good. I didn't go too high up the inner thigh. I would like to be working higher up into the inner thigh in this situation maybe. So, broad side of the hand against the drape line. Just put my hand on the inner thigh against the drape, okay? Other hand, so this hand is not moving, right? My other hand, pulling the leg out and away. So I haven't moved my hand, so I'm not moving at all towards the groin, but the drape line is now where it needs to be. Does that feel comfortable? Yeah, really good. So what I did, basically put my hand against the drape line, the outside of my hand, and then I pulled the leg away. Kept my hand still. Pardon? No, it's literally I'm adjusting the drape. Yeah, I'm fixing the drape to make it higher. So hand was against the drape line. This hand didn't move. I literally pulled the skin up and away. So down away from the drape while keeping the drape where it was. So as the tissue relaxes back, I now have a much higher inner thigh drape line without getting invasive thumbs or anything like that. Cool? Has anyone shown you that before? No? Did that feel comfortable? Yeah. Yeah. My leg drape's pretty garbage to begin with, so it's very useful. Right. Depending on tissue health, gentle compressions, right? Swedish, encouraging venous return with this kind of stuff. There's another thing. We can do vibrations to stimulate. I know a lot of practitioners don't do vibrations. I do them a lot. And I do a lot of like oscillations and things. So I'll do vibrations while moving joints as well. So shoulder and like pec minor, I tend to pin and vibrate. And then I'll do the opening exercises for the legs. How's that feeling?
A little bit itchy.
A little itchy, yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. Good. If I did it longer, it should calm down. Okay. So, I can pin and stretch quads here. Right. Gentle pin. Supporting through the knee. Some cocaine in my active for a second. That again. Ignore this. So, essentially, I put traction on the quad, and as you extended the knee, it clicked, and now it doesn't. Your knee clicked, as I did.
Yeah.
Yep. So, she can also help me. Active assisted range. Okay. I can also do vibrations while we do this. Right? So you are engaging and straightening through the leg. Okay. I can do stroking, brushing. Okay. I can do neutral warmth if I want to, which is always fun. Super great for a demo. It's neutral warmth. I'm gonna do this for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll be recording 5 minutes worth of neutral warmth. Yeah, good. Excellent. And again, you can go a little bit more detailed into the lower or the more peripheral tissue because there is less degrading of it. And you might actually find that you have to do more work into that. Okay? Pulling down and away with my drape, especially when people are around. Good.
Personal muscle